It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Time for us to talk relationships. It's Relationship Monday. I love it. Now, in the beginning of a relationship, it's natural to want to spend time with your loved one exclusively, just the two of you, doing your favorite activities with just the two of you, no one else around as you get to know one another. However, for some couples, as time goes on, they very rarely socialize with one another and seek more to do it with everyone else on the outside of the relationship.
So today we are asking the question, does socializing in your relationship rely heavily on having others there with you? We are also looking at the other side of that and how do you handle yourself around such a couple that needs others with them to be able to plug into that social energy. Relationship expert Paula Quinsee is in the building to answer these rather complex questions. So please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you're the best audience when it comes to our relationship chats. So weigh in 021 430 9881 with any questions or comments and observations. We'd love to get a real case study going here and engage with you.
Absolutely. Paula, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. I love Paula. Paula, in the ad break, said, Leanna, did you find a man? And I was like, no, Paula. She's like, we've got to change that. I'm like, yes, Paula, I love you. All right, so let's start with
But
this.
we digress.
But we digress. Paula's in there. She's there for me. So we all know at the beginning of any relationship, it's normal to want to maximize time spent with the person that you are in love with because you want to get to know them. But is it normal as time goes on for those feelings to dwindle and you really feel like you want to be with that person, but you need to have other people around you?
So there is a natural relationship cycle that every couple goes through.
Yeah.
And with the beginning stages is what we call the honeymoon or the romantic phase.
Yes.
And depending on the dynamics of the couple, research shows that it lasts anything from 3 months up to 24 months before you start moving into the next stage of the relationship cycle. So I wouldn't say the feelings dwindle. I think you just move into the next stage of the relationship where you become more comfortable with each other and you're not making so much of an effort as you did in the romantic stage when you were courting each other.
So when you say there is a natural life cycle there, should we try and buck that trend? Should we try and fight it and make time to socialize with one another? Are you then forcing the issue? Is there a way you can do that kind of naturally?
So it's important for couples to spend time together in terms of building that intimacy and the connection. And intimacy and sex are two different things, just for clarity
Our
purposes.
viewers know that by now. You know that by now,
You should. So it's important to spend that time together as a couple because it strengthens that connection and that bond between the two of you, that feeling of closeness and trust and you know, all of those things. But it's equally important to spend time apart in terms of individual me time to connect with self, but also with others from a socializing perspective.
Yeah, well, I do have a few friends who really can't hang out too much with one another without hanging out in a group of people because they've kind of lost that personal space situation. And I want to know if there's something inherently wrong with that, if you can't spend time with your partner without other people being around. And of course, you can give us a call, that number 021 430 9881. You can chat to Paula, of course, if you've got a question or a comment for our relationship expert.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, we're back with our relationship expert, Paula Quinsee, and of course she's in the hot seat this morning as she's giving advice to couples that find that they rely heavily on having others around when they socialize with each other. Now, if you have any questions or comments on the topic, our lines are open, so please do feel free to give us a call on 021 430 9881. Now, Paula Quinsee, before we went to the ad break, I just had to talk about the fact is there an inherent problem when a couple cannot spend quality personal time with each other? Because my language of love is quality time spent. If I don't feel that I can have that, I know that there's a problem. But maybe some couples don't.
Yeah, you know, every couple and every relationship is different. If couples are not spending quality time together, I would question what is the quality of their relationship?
Yeah.
How deep is their relationship? You know, and some couples find other ways of coping, in other words, avoiding dealing with what's going on in their relationship. So if you don't want to spend time together, I'd question why and try and find out and understand what's going on there that you don't want to spend time with your partner.
Sure.
I think there's something in, you get quality time that within a relationship is, you're at home, you're in that bubble. But then we're differentiating, saying that there is socializing, which means that you're stepping out of what's the norm and into another space? What are some of the hurdles that would prevent us from wanting to, are we embarrassed about the way that our partner behaves in that environment? Is something change in us or them? How do we broach that? What are some of the red flags in that space, do you think?
So some couples can just become very comfortable. So we call them nesters, where they like to stay in their comfortable environment that's familiar to them. They don't like socializing or going out. This could be really because we get into a routine becomes a rut, and we can potentially become complacent. So we don't want to make the effort. Whereas on the other hand, it could be for things such as, your partner embarrasses you, or the way little quirks, little traits, little things like that.
Never shuts up.
Never shuts up. And in other instances, it could simply be that one of you is an introvert and one of you is an extrovert, and you just have different social interactions and needs to be with other people. That doesn't mean that you can't make it work and that you can't find a way of fulfilling each other's needs when it comes to socializing.
Something that I find is also quite, it happens a lot, is that there is a particular issue that prevents you from spending quality time with a person that you love. It could maybe be your work, which is a huge one, spending very long hours at work.
A new baby.
A new baby. What do you do to kind of make sure that does not become an issue that makes you drift further and further away from your partner?
At the end of the day, if you don't make time for your relationship, then over time you're not going to have a relationship. So you need to make your relationship a priority. Now, every couple's schedule and that is different, so you need to find what works for you. And if that means spending quality time together once a month, and that's all you can fit in because you've got kids and responsibilities and stuff, then that's okay. You need to find what works for you. But if you don't make time for your relationship, you're not going to have a relationship over time.
I suppose just being aware of that might be the start there. We're going to flip the script a little bit here, and we're going to talk to now the social group that has that couple, those friends that can only socialise in that space, and look at it from a different viewpoint. But we'd love to hear from you. 021 4309 881. Give us a call if you'd like to weigh in on the discussion.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Relationship expert Paula Quinsee is in the hot seat this morning. She is giving us advice, and specifically to couples that find that they have to rely heavily on having others around when they socialize with each other. If you have any questions or comments on this topic, please, the lines are open. Give us a call, 021 430 9881. I think this is one of those discussions that has people kind of suddenly stopping and assessing their own relation, thinking like, are we that? Am I that kind of, but looking at it from a different perspective, if we're part of a very close social group and we can see this trend within other couples that the only time they socialize is in that space, how do we broach it with them? Is it even our business?
I think it depends on the type of relationship that you have with that couple. Nobody wants to interfere in anybody else's relationship and cause problems. So if you have a trusted, respected relationship, you could raise it, but raise it in a respectful way, Being with couples is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if they are positive role models in our lives, and we can learn from them. We can learn how to deal with issues. We can learn how to communicate better. We can even learn how to appreciate our partners by seeing them in a different light, by
see
how
the best
other
of them
people.
through the eyes of their friends.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How does one approach socializing with a couple who seem to never want to spend time with each other?
Yeah, it's one of those honest conversations where you've got
Yeah.
to sit down with each other and be completely honest. But you can only do that if the relationship space feels
course,
safe,
yeah.
and that you are safe enough to voice what you're really thinking and feeling and wanting and needing.
Yeah.
And if you can't seem to do it together, just the two of you, then perhaps find a professional or an independent third person that can help you unpack that.
Yeah, I think often it's, especially if you're going to be talking to another couple specifically, you talk about your own experience and how you feel and what you've achieved in your relationship, and how maybe that's a good jumping off point there. This has can of worms written all over it, because I think when a relationship has achieved balance, that's obviously quite a complex thing. But once you start broaching this, can it tumble domino effect into deeper things? Can you start to see bigger cracks within a relationship? How should you approach this?
Yeah, again, each couple, each relationship is different, and sometimes couples or individuals find coping mechanisms, whether it's throwing yourselves into work because you don't want to deal with situations, but inherently when something is not right in your relationship. You can feel it on that deeper level, and it's about being willing to want to face it, because you want each other to succeed, and you want the best for each other and your relationship. So it's about having that honest conversation and going, well, how can we be better couples? How can we be better for each other? And how can we make our relationship better? What's working, what's not working?
So you're not judging each other, but you're looking at what you can
Exactly.
grow on.
Exactly.
Talking about making it better, what are some of the strategies or the compromises that a couple has to employ in their relationship to make sure that they know that they not only have healthy social time, but personal time as well?
You know, I think this is where you need to understand each other on a deeper level. So, for example, introvert, extrovert. Introverts don't really like big social gatherings and social occasions, but they can manage small little gatherings. So start off with small situations, group situations, so that they can feel comfortable before you sort of go to that next level. And vice versa, you know, with the extrovert. Extroverts like they get energy from other people, but they also like alone time, whereas introverts get the energy from selves or quieter times. So discuss what occasions are important and where you would like each other to support each other, and start with that as the beginning before you start having a packed social calendar.
And that deeper conversation. But I think most importantly, you've got to have that conversation. You can't just keep playing through those patterns. Socializing doesn't mean that you always have to be attached at the hip, both inside and out the home, but it's also good to find ways to nurture different kinds of time with each other, keep stimulating each other, and look for that balance and a more connected relationship. Thank you so much, Paula. It's been really, really interesting. Lots to chew through this morning.